Now, a little over a week ago, on the 28th of February, in a joint attack by Israel and the United States, Iran's former supreme leader, 86-year-old Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the man who had ruled Iran for close to 4 decades and essentially shaped Iran's defiance, was assassinated, and thereby triggering a war long feared and which threatens to plunge the entire West Asian region into chaos with wide-ranging ramifications. Now, our next report explores how it happened and every detail till now.
February 28th is a date destined to be etched onto the collective psyche of Iranians for a long, long time. On this day, a new chapter began to take form in the Islamic Republic of Iran's turbulent history. With the assassination of former Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, once a wartime president, in joint Israeli and US airstrikes, the man who truly shaped the military and paramilitary apparatus that forms both Iran's defense against its enemies and provides it with influence well beyond its borders, was assassinated, sparking a war now widely being viewed as US President Donald Trump's war of choice. According to the US Central Command, over the past week, US forces have struck more than 3,000 targets in Iran as part of Operation Epic Fury, destroying Iranian military, administrative and security infrastructure. On Friday, the US President Donald Trump told reporters that Iran's army, navy, communications and their leaders have been decimated.
Iran were doing very well. Somebody said, how would you score it from 0 to 10? I said, I'd give it a 12 to a 15. Their army is gone. They're just about, look, their navy is gone. Their communications are gone. Their leaders are gone.
The Israeli war machine, despite a US brokered ceasefire deal with the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah in November 2024, has intensified its airstrikes on Lebanon, repeatedly striking and ordering the evacuation of Beirut's densely populated southern suburbs. According to Lebanon's health ministry, at least 217 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes, and 300,000 people have been forced to flee from their homes, prompting the Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam to warn that a humanitarian disaster looms on the horizon. Iran has retaliated against the US-Israeli attacks by launching drones and missiles at countries hosting US bases, including Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait and US-allied Oman and Saudi Arabia. Spreading like wildfire, the West Asia conflict in a short span of 7 days has widened to include Cyprus and the European Union, Turkey and Azerbaijan, and even reached as far as waters of Sri Lanka, where US forces torpedoed and sank an Iranian warship. On Friday, spurring fresh talks with Tehran, the US president said on social media that he would only choose a great and acceptable leader after Iran's unconditional surrender. On the very same day, the White House press secretary Karoline Leavitt told reporters that the war is expected to last for about 4 to 6 weeks, an attempt to allay fears that this time, US is not getting drawn into a protracted, open-ended conflict like in Iraq and Afghanistan. The very next day, as the war entered its second week, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian struck a defiant tone and declared that his country would never surrender to Israel and the United States. He also issued an apology to the Gulf neighbors, some of which host major US military bases and have been targeted by the Islamic Republic, saying that they would only be targeted if their territories were used as launch pads to attack Iran.
I must apologize on my own behalf and on behalf of Iran to the neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran. The Interim Leadership Council agreed yesterday that no more attacks will be made on neighboring countries and no missiles will be fired unless an attack on Iran originates from those countries.
Conspicuous by their absence in the theatre of war are both Russia and China, Iran's two most powerful diplomatic partners, who have labelled the war as a clear violation of international law but have stopped short of offering military support. Despite their sharp rhetoric, including the joint request for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council, what is most certainly unmissable is that neither has exhibited a willingness so far to intervene militarily to support the Islamic Republic. Interestingly, former Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's funeral has still not been held, and uncertainty continues regarding Iran's next leader. Earlier this week, Trump had said that he expected to play a role in the selection of the Iran's next leader, a scenario not unlike that witnessed in Venezuela. But given Tehran's defiance and US's warning of a forthcoming intense bombing campaign, the whole region resembles a powder keg.